Hello, hello. How are you doing? Welcome to Master the Montessori Life Show. And I am so happy that you are here, and I am so happy that I am here. So let's get started.
Hey there, this is Tanya Wright from MasterTheMontessoriLife.com, the place for Montessori lovers ready to make themselves centered, organized Montessori guides, nurture happy, normalized children, and create smooth, successful Montessori days. Let's get you closer to your transformation today. Welcome.
Hello, hello. This is Tanya Wright with Master the Montessori Life Show. I am so happy that you are here to learn and to just have a better Montessori journey. And I love that you are here. So I am Tanya Wright, like I said, and I am the creator of the Montessori Way Foundations framework. That is the 6-month journey to a firm foundation in the Montessori philosophy. So you get to work with me for 6 months. I am your coach for 6 months. You get to grow and go through the lessons, and we have our video calls and video lessons and all of that good stuff for 6 months. And the results have been amazing. So I am so glad that I made that. I noticed that over the years, I've been doing Montessori for over 16 years, that there are common pitfalls, common obstacles, and people have been intimidated by certain common ground topics. And so I put together the framework to make it work for everyone, and it is awesome. You can find out more about me and about Montessori and about the program at masterthemontessorilife.com. You are more than welcome to find us there. There's all kinds of articles and information and awesome stuff about Montessori. And if you want some resources that I have created, and also to learn more about the different courses and to work with me as your coach, then go to shop.masterthemontessorilife.com. Shop.masterthemontessorilife.com. And that is where you're going to find all of that stuff. Really awesome. And I want to invite you to 2 Facebook groups. They are completely free. One is for homeschoolers, whether you're doing Montessori or anything else. If you are a homeschooler, you're welcome to join. It is called the Natural Homeschool Community. All you have to do is go to Facebook, type the Natural Homeschool Community, and there in groups, you're going to find it. Just request to join, and that is all you have to do. And if you're doing Montessori only, then you want to join the Montessori Way Prep Room. Same thing. You go to Facebook and type in the search window the Montessori Way Prep Room, and you will find the group there to join. I want to let you know that today's episode is episode 57 already. So if you are new to us, then you will know that there are 56 other trainings that you are more than welcome to search for and to learn from. All you have to do is go to this link below, masterthemontessorilife.com/live-trainings. So live, Live, and then a dash, trainings. And you will find all of the episodes there. And as soon as I add a new episode, it's automatically added. So you can always keep up that way. And last but not least, don't miss out on anything. You will want to join our email list, because if anything happens with social media, if anything happens with any other communications, that is the way that I let my readers know what is going on. If there's anything special going on, which, by the way, next week, I have a very, very, very important announcement. So don't miss next week's training. But I have important article announcements, important resource announcements, important training announcements, anything that's important. I won't spam you. I'm serious, just giving you the important information that you need to know so you don't miss out on it. Okay. All right. So now that we have all of that good stuff out of the way, I want to get into our training. Today is reasons why Montessori math is easier than you think. All right. One common misconception about math under the Montessori method is that it is difficult. It is more difficult than traditional math instruction. But this could not be further from the truth. In fact, Montessori math is easier than you think for several reasons. And today we're going to be discussing some of those. But let me tell you a little bit about Montessori math first. Montessori math is highly structured. There is a clear progression from simple to complex concepts. I know that when you show up to the Montessori environment and you look at the Montessori math shelf, all you see is materials. I know the feeling because I have gone through it. I started the Montessori journey over 16 years ago, but I still remember that overwhelming feeling of, oh my goodness, how am I supposed to teach children all this? I don't even know what these works do or what they're supposed to teach the children. How am I supposed to explain it to them? So understand that it is a process and you don't have to teach all of it all at once. You don't have to learn about all of them all at once. But remember that there is a progression from simple to complex. This helps children understand that they are learning what they are learning and how it fits into the larger picture. It emphasizes problem solving and critical thinking skills. Rather than simply memorizing facts and formulas, children are encouraged to think creatively and to solve problems. There are many things that can make you feel intimidated by the wonderful subject of Montessori math, but let's dispel some of these fears in this training and talk about why Montessori math is easier than you think. All right. So, if you happen to hear some noise going on right outside my window, those are my chickens. My chickens are right outside here. That's where they live, and they can get loud sometimes, chatty Cathy. So, just ignore them. All right, number one, math materials are hands-on. First, math materials emphasizes hands-on learning. This means that children are actively engaged in the learning process, which helps them to better retain the information. One reason Montessori math is easier than you think is because it is based on the principle of concrete materials to abstract thinking. You start with the hands-on and you move into the mental math as they get older. This means that concepts are first introduced in a concrete, hands-on way before they are taught in an abstract way. For example, when teaching the concept of addition, students would first manipulate physical objects and add them together before moving on to adding the numbers on a piece of paper with paper and pencil. This makes it more interesting to them. And this concrete to abstract approach makes math more accessible and less daunting for students. Makes it more interesting too because they love to manipulate things with their hands. When thinking about Montessori math, you can be intimidated by that because you're like, oh, there are all these works, and how am I supposed to know how they work, and how am I supposed to teach what they are supposed to be imparting on the children? But don't fret. there's a great way to get started. You will get a checklist. Here's a resource. I will talk to you about it a little later. But there's a checklist that you can use with Montessori Works, so you know where to get started and you know the progression of the different materials. You can check off that checklist, not only for you but for the children that you're working with. So let me tell you more about it in a little bit, okay? First, let me also explain to you point number two, Montessori materials are beautiful and pleasing to the eye. So, Montessori math is based on a child's natural ability to learn through exploration and discovery. With this approach, children are able to understand concepts more quickly and easily than with traditional methods like paper and pencil. Montessori math is easier than you think because it is more individualized. In traditional classroom, all students are expected to learn at the same pace and in the same way. However, in a Montessori classroom, each student is able to learn at their own pace and in their own preferred learning style. Did you know that over 90%, it's more like between 90 and 95% of children are kinesthetic learners? That may change as they get older, but the hands-on learning is very, very high. The percentage is very high in children. So Montessori is such a great method to be teaching children about, especially with math, because it is such an important subject. This individualized approach makes it easier for students to succeed as you teach Montessori math. So I know that not only do you need to learn the names of Montessori math materials, you also need to learn how to teach them to the children and what they are supposed to learn out of each one. And not only that, but there's levels, there's layers to each of the materials where you can use the same material to teach different levels of math. So I know that it can make you feel overwhelmed, but don't be. There are some Montessori materials such as the number rods, the stamp game, the bead stair, the spindle box, the golden beads. Look at the one on the slide that I have right here, actually, right here next to me. And this is the bead cabinet. And this one helps children with so many skills. It's amazing how much you can do with it. So you're like, oh, it's so big and bulky. Yes, it is, but it also teaches children so many different skills. So I want to tell you about a resource that I have created based on what you guys have told me that you have a problem with in terms of getting stuck with math. So, this is the Montessori Math Curriculum Starter Record Chart. And this is great because you can keep track of exactly what you are doing with each child, but you are also getting the clue of how to progress. You're going from work to work, Montessori work to Montessori work. I just put the link to the resource in the comments. But if you are listening, the easiest way to find it is to go to shop.masterthemontessorilife.com. That is shop.masterthemontessorilife.com. And in the search window, you're going to type math curriculum. That's the easiest way to find it. It is the best thing that you can do for yourself and for the children that you work with, because you have the checklist. You know exactly what to get into first, second, third, and so on. But not just that. You can keep track of when you have introduced it to the child, the date, when they have practiced it, when they have mastered it, etc., etc. So it is a beautifully made resource that you are going to love having for your Montessori math curriculum. So you will definitely want to use this one. It will be your go-to list when you're going to be planning your math shelf setup in your Montessori curriculum. Okay, so you go to shop.masterthemontessorilife.com, and in the search window, you're going to type math curriculum, and you will see it there. It is called the Montessori Math Curriculum Starter Record Chart. All right. And point number three for today's training. Montessori math materials have control of error. Oh, I love, 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 love this. Finally, Montessori math is flexible and adaptable to each individual child's needs. This allows children to progress at their own pace, like I said before, which can make the learning process much less daunting. Another reason Montessori math is easier than you think is because it emphasizes understanding over rote memorization. Okay, so the child's brain will actually be activated to seek understanding of the material, not just the memorization. They will know why 2 plus 2 is 4 and not just memorize 2 plus 2 is 4. In traditional math instruction, students are often asked to memorize algorithms or formulas without understanding why they work. In contrast, Montessori math focuses on helping students understand the concepts behind the algorithms. This understanding based approach makes math more meaningful and enjoyable for students because they actually know what they're doing and why they are doing it, not just memorizing it. They're not little robots going through the motions, right? So I love that the Montessori math has the control of error. That means that they have a way of checking their own work without needing you to check their work. They can check it themselves. For example, you look at this slide with the numbers and counters. You can see that when children are learning the concept of numbers, the numerals 1 through 10, they will learn also the concept of odd and even. If the child will put their finger on the counter, that means it's odd. And if they try to run the finger down and it stops, it gets blocked, then it's odd. But if the finger runs right through, that means it's even. So look at the number 1. You would put your finger on the dot for 1 and it stops. So that means that 1 is odd. And then with number 2, you can run your finger through between the 2 dots and it doesn't stop. That means it's even. Put your finger on number 3. It stops. You see that? It stops right there. So that means that it's odd. With the number 4, you can run your finger between those dots in the middle and it runs right through and it doesn't stop. That means it's even. Look at the number 5. Same thing. You run the finger through and it stops. That means that 5 is odd. So that is just one example on how the Montessori math materials have control of error. All right. So in conclusion, if you are feeling intimidated by Montessori math, don't be. With a little bit of understanding and patience, you will see that it's not nearly as scary as it seems. So let's talk about some quick takeaways from today's training. I hope that this has helped dispel some of the myths about Montessori math being difficult or overwhelming or intimidating. As you can see, there are many reasons why Montessori math is easier than you think. All you need to do is to have the right resources, the right materials, and a little bit of time and patience to learn how they work. Montessori math materials are hands-on in nature, and this sparks interest and curiosity in the child. They are beautiful and pleasing to the eye. This creates a lifelong love for learning because they are attractive. Montessori math materials have control of error. This instills independence and confidence in the child. There is a great Montessori math curriculum resource that will be very helpful to you. So let me show you that again. All right, so here you go. It is the Montessori Math Curriculum Starter Record Chart. This is what you need to get started. And if you have been doing Montessori Math for a while and you're feeling kind of lost, you still need this one to start with. If you're interested in learning more about Montessori Math, then check out our website or contact me for more information. Just go to masterthemontessorilife.com and we'll be happy to chat with you. To get this resource, go to the shop.masterthemontessorilife.com, and in the search window, enter math curriculum. That's what you need to type in the search window, math curriculum, and you will find it right there. So remember that this is very, very important. You want to know where to start. This is your guide. Math does not have to be difficult. So, thank you so much for showing up with me today. I am very excited that you are here, and don't forget that you can do it. I will see you next week with a very special announcement. So, be here. Mark your calendars. Bye.
I appreciate you sharing time with me today. You have tons of choices about what you're listening to, and I love that you chose Master the Montessori Life show. Thank you. Well, that's it for today. Until next time, this is Tanya Wright with masterthemontessorilife.com. I hope that you will take the time to digest the training to create solutions that will bring about smooth, successful Montessori days for you. Let's get you closer to that transformation today.